Hey there, how's it going? Vladimir Donis here. So hey, I wanted to jump online and do a quick video. And the title of today's video is MLM Attraction Blueprint. So today I want to talk to you about two things. I want to talk to you about the notion of prospecting and I also want to talk to you about the notion of taking the next step. But before I get to the actual content, I want to go ahead and provide you with some context. I believe that every network marketer, every business owner needs to have a marketing plan. And the only way for them to have a marketing plan is to have a marketing roadmap, which is why when I work with network marketers, when I work with business owners, I use a three-step framework that has three core steps: reach, engage, and attract. Now, each core step has prerequisites, and today I'm going to be pulling from one of those specific prerequisites to deliver the specific content to you today. And the prerequisite that I'm going to be pulling from is the conversion process. Now, as to the actual content, MLM Attraction Blueprint. So essentially, when I first started, one of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to try to find the easy way to market. So essentially, what I thought was attraction marketing was not attraction marketing. So when I first started in business, I launched a dating website. Now the dating website took about a year and a half for it to publish, for it to be built. I hired a programmer. When I hired the programmer started to work on pretty much putting together this dating website. And I remember about 2 months into this individual working on this specific dating website, one of the things that I had learned, or one of the things that I heard about, is that pretty much 80% of businesses fail within within five years. So and knowing that, I said to myself, you know what? Who do I know that has been successful in business that I can kind of just pick their brains and kind of just understand, okay, what is it that you've done to be successful? And I remember at the time, there was a family friend, that specific individual had been in business for about 14 years. So I said to myself, you know what? This specific individual has been in business for about 14 years. There's a lot that I can learn from this specific individual. So I requested a meeting from this specific individual and we met. So I wanted to kind of just pick his brain and understand, okay, what have you done that's allowed you to be in business for 14 years. And one of the things he told me is, as it relates to building a specific audience, one of the things he told me is that at the time, his target audience was Haitians. And he said, you know what, the thing that he did is that he tried to be in front of his audience as much as possible. So pretty much as much face-to-face contact as possible. If there's an event that is happening and he knows that his specific target audience is going to be at that specific event, he made it a point to make sure that he was there. So pretty much as much contact as possible. He said, you know what, you're going to be hit with some resistance at the beginning, but you want to go ahead and keep at it. The more your target audience see you, the more you engage with them, the more you network with them, the more they will open up to you. So essentially, that is one of the advice that he gave me. So when my business launched, I took his advice because I said to myself, you know what, this person was very successful. I need to go ahead and take his advice. And one of the things that I did on my business launch is that I ordered about 15,000 business cards. And in ordering those business cards, my website or my company was about dating and dancing. So I wanted to get in front of my target audience. I wanted to get in front of those specific individuals by way of visiting nightclubs, because part of my dating site was about part of it was dating, the other part of it was dancing. So here I am, I ordered about 15,000 business cards just to try to get in front of as many businesses, as many prospects as possible. So I was pretty much just reaching out, prospecting, passing out cards and trying to reach out to as many people as possible so that way they can go ahead and sign up for my dating site. Now I want to say I gave it a fair try, right? And essentially that methodology did not work for me. I know it worked for him, but for me that methodology did not work. So then I started to kind of just think about, okay, if I am going through the process of trying to find a company to do business with, what do I do? How do I go about finding a specific company? And I knew that for me at that time, and even now, when I'm looking for a product or a service, one of the things that I turn to Google. I type in a specific keyword or key phrase inside of Google, and Google will show me companies in my areas, or Google will pretty much find me a match. So that's essentially, one of the things that I was doing at the time, and I still do that now. So I said to myself, okay, if that's the thing that I was doing, if that's how I go about finding products and services, why don't I try to become one of the companies that show up when people are searching for my specific company or for my specific product or for my specific service? So that's one of the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to go ahead and see if I can show up on Google when people type in, hey, I want to find a date or I want to find someone to go dancing with. I want to show up on Google. That's one of the things that I wanted to do. So I hired a company to try and do that specific work for me. And essentially the company did not produce me with the results that I needed. So I went out and learned as much about, search engine optimization as possible, because you know what, I said to myself, if that is a methodology that works, I want to be able to go ahead and show up, via the search engine. So pretty much what I did is I went about buying and purchasing a course to learn search engine optimization. Now, it took me some time to learn search engine optimization, but from the time I learned search engine optimization to the time I started to kind of just show up in Google, from the time I learned it and I pretty much did everything that the course told me, and from the time that, I pretty much did everything, and from the time I started to kind of just show up in Google, it took me about 4 to 5 months. So within 4 to 5 months, I started to kind of just show up via the search engine. So essentially now, to me, that was the first blueprint as it relates to attraction. From an attraction standpoint, I was no longer reaching out to people. At that time, what was happening is that, I had content that was out there that was on my website. People would search for that specific service or search for that specific content. And then what would happen is that these specific individuals could take the next step. So for me, that was the first step as it relates to attraction marketing. As it relates to attraction blueprint is I write content exists via my website, people search it, and then people find it, people go to the next step. And then I started to kind of just think to myself, okay, this specific process took me about 5 months from the time that I wrote the content, from the time I optimized everything to the time that someone found me to go to the next step. Now that's a long time for a lot of businesses. And then I started to kind of just noticing via social media that some individuals were pretty much doing something very similar. They were having information out on social media, and then people would find them, and then people would take the next step. So then I said to myself, you know what, this seems a lot quicker. My number one question at the time was, okay, what are these specific individuals, writing about? That was kind of like my hiccup, so to speak. Like, I see how it works, but I couldn't understand, precisely what content they would kind of just put out there, so that people can go ahead and engage and take the next step. And then I learned about the concept of something called BuzzSumo. So essentially what BuzzSumo does is BuzzSumo allows you to type in the keyword of your specific industry. So for instance, I can go to BuzzSumo right now and type in network marketing. And if I type in network marketing, BuzzSumo is going to show me things that are already trending, things that people in that specific industry are already searching for. So, because BuzzSumo can go ahead and give me ideas, now I can go ahead and take those specific ideas and I can go ahead and produce content. And guess what? And I can be found a lot quicker. Now, all of a sudden, I don't necessarily have to wait, 4 or 5 months for people to find me. I can go ahead and put that content out there on social media, and then immediately people can go ahead and take the next step. People can go ahead and say, hey, what is the next step? I want to learn more, whatever the case may be. So essentially, now it was much, much, much faster. And then essentially, some of the other things that you can kind of just do is that you can think about, okay, what are some of the questions people have before they purchase something from you? What are some of the things that they have related to your product or your services? And you can go ahead and publish that specific type of a content, whether it be written content, whether it be video content, publish those specific content out on social media. And when you publish those specific content out on social media, you're going to have a next step. And when people raise their hand and take the next step, that is essentially attraction marketing, because all of a sudden what you're doing is you're answering questions and you're providing content and people taking the next step, as opposed to you kind of just reaching out to people. So that is essentially the other blueprint as it relates to attraction marketing. The last piece is that if you want things to go very, 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 very fast, the other thing you can do is you can go ahead and pay for ads. You can go ahead and pay social media. You can go ahead and pay Facebook, and Facebook will serve up your content to your specific audience much, much, much faster. So that is the other step that you can go ahead and do from an attraction standpoint, from an attraction blueprint standpoint, to go ahead and start to get some traction as quickly as possible. One of the things that I'm doing is that later this week is that I'm hosting a free web class. Now, the web class is specific to network marketing, and it has 2 goals. Goal number 1 is it's going to show you how to generate a lead online, and then goal number 2 is going to show you how to take that lead and then turn that lead into a customer. There's going to be a link somewhere on this page, and the link is going to allow you to register for the free web class. Now, if you're not in network marketing, you're a business owner, and you need marketing help, I can become your marketing guy. And if we decide that I'm the right fit, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to pretty much take this specific framework and help implement it into your business, so that way we can go ahead and generate leads, and then turn those leads into customers for you. There's going to be a separate link on this page, and that separate link is going to simply allow you to request additional information as it relates to my marketing services. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and send you the details, and then we can go ahead and take the next step. Hey, that is my time. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you soon.